Hey Marshall, just looking at your brochure, it's looking a lot better. This is looking a lot more finished. Um, I'm wanting to see some red in it for some reason. I don't know if you can inject red somewhere. Okay, and also the PDF file, that's what I'm looking at right now. It doesn't have the bleeds or the crop marks included, so you're going to have to export out a separate PDF with the bleed and the crop marks included. Got your document fonts. Hopefully I have most of these. I'll just open up the IND file now. Okay, Marshall, just looking at it in InDesign now. So I would say I like the front cover. I think you did an image trace, which is fine. I'd maybe consider take out the middle of the cup. And I would actually make it maybe even a little bit bigger. Maybe not. I don't know if that's actually helping or not. Like I said, I think maybe a picture of coffee beans for the background. Like you could, let's see, go online. I mean, I would go to like Unsplash.com. We could look up coffee. They probably have a lot. Coffee beans would be better, maybe. So like this one, we could just download this. And then we could go into your InDesign document, take out the color on this baby over here in the properties panel, take the fill, make it none, and then do a file place, and, downloads. Put this on list, date modified, so we can bring in this coffee bean image. Get rid of this. It's huge, so I just definitely need to size it way down. I'm just going to zoom out and push shift and drag from the corners to make it smaller. So it fits. Oops, darn it. I need to move it back into the frame too. It's huge. So you could bring in maybe an image of coffee. I don't know if that's going to look quite right or not. I'm not totally loving it, but something would be nice. I do like maybe a border on this. Maybe a border on this one image of so if I get this, why can't I select it? I don't understand. Okay, and then I go to the properties, we could give it a stroke of white, and we could change the border to I don't know, thick and thin. There's a bunch of different things we could use, but maybe a thick and thin, or maybe change the stroke on it a little bit. And then with the 406 Roasting logo, I mean, we could put a color behind it. I mean, I could just use the pencil tool and try and drag out a shape. This is super fast, super rough. I would expect you to do a little bit better of a job than what I'm doing, but you get the gist of it. So we can fill that in maybe with a red. I don't know, maybe a dark cranberry red or something. I have no idea if that's even really going to look very good. I'm just trying a few things here. Maybe something like that. I don't know if that's looking very good or not. But you do have your template in here, right? Which is good. I'm not sure if I'm loving that. I was just trying a couple things. Anyway, if we push W, let's grab this. We can, you definitely need to do this. You definitely need to have all of these backgrounds coming all the way to the bleed line. So this image obviously doesn't work that way very well, but we can size it up, within the box. Just make the box bigger and then use the white arrow tool to size up that image so that it comes all the way to the bleed. And the same thing goes, I mean, you do have this one all the way to the bleed line, so that's great, but this color here needs to be brought out. And let's push W on the keyboard. Let's capitalize company. You know, I would almost say that logo is a pretty nice looking logo. Let's make this bold. Or maybe even black if they have it. Maybe just bold then. Actually, we can make all of this bold. All of this bold. And actually, we could re-put the logo in here just at a small size. Let's push W. We can bring this down. Like, what size font is this? It doesn't have to be huge. It looks kind of like it's probably pretty big. Oh, maybe not. I'd say like maybe, and capitalize street and like maybe put a period, or either just spell it all the way out. I would still have the logo on there. It just looks more, you know, official to me. And if this is the back panel, I would say, you know, just crop this image down using the black arrow tool. Let's zoom way out. And then come, oops. And then just make sure it's coming to the bleed line and the fold line on your template, which I think it is. And then you would just have to swap it out. So let's just click and drag over everything. Command G to group it. Push Shift on your keyboard, hold Shift down, and you can move it over a little bit. Grab this image, move it over, get it positioned so that it's lining up with the the fold lines, and just swap these around so that you have your panels, you know, front and back panel are right next to each other. Also, this font, or this text, oops, gosh darn it. If we do a Command A in there, oops, I'm going to zoom in on it, not zoom out. If we do a Command A, we can make this, I almost think that this might look better, justify with last line right aligned, or with last line aligned left. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, but we do need to also scroll down using the scroll bar and uncheck hyphenate as well, because it's just going to look better. What size is this? 12 is a good size, if that's what size it is. Yeah, that's 12 is, oh, it's 11. So yeah, don't go any smaller than 10 points. I don't like that this is on one line down here, so we'll make it a little bit bigger just to, and then we'll just center it. So I'd say like something like that's pretty nice. I don't mind, like I think maybe filling this with a little bit more detail would be good. I'm not totally sold on the red behind the logo. I mean, the red could be maybe white, and then you can make the logo itself maybe red, or like a coffee color. I don't know. You know, maybe you could experiment and see if that looks decent. And I don't love this coffee bean background necessarily. I'm not super in love with it. You can use the frame fitting, you know, select it with the white arrow tool, and use this frame fitting thing to make it fit in the frame for you more easily. I don't know, I'm just kind of wondering about this, like what could be done a little differently. I'm not sure if I really like this. I don't think I do. I was just trying a couple things on it. Like the way you had the front cover was fine. It was just a little bit, I felt like it needed a little something, but I'm not quite exactly sure what. It might be something that you just need to kind of play with a little bit. I think this background image is taking away from the actual like coffee pouring into the mug though. So this page, definitely need to check and see if your colors are coming out all the way to the bleed and they aren't, so you need to fix that. There's some issues with the text in here too. It looks like it was copy pasted maybe from like Illustrator or something, I'm not quite sure. So that's going to make it hard to edit your text in InDesign. It'd be better to actually make text boxes and, you know, bring in actual text that you can edit inside of Illustrator or InDesign. So you will be docked off for this, because this is not how you should be laying out a brochure. I would say, you know, this is probably going to look, this might look better if you bring this up a little bit so that there's kind of a little rhyme or reason to, you know, these borders all kind of matching, getting them all centered in there nicely. And I think you're doing like chocolate, dark roast, light roast, obviously, pastries. I would say, yeah, bringing in actual text instead of it all being image traced. That way you can change the sizes of the text. You can bold things. You can, like, because I would say like Ethiopia, Peru, Guatemala, Colombia, Tanzania, Costa Rica, maybe region, Costa region. Burundi or whatever, I would say those should be bolded. And then smooth mouth feel should be on one line, like if you have to like just bring down the size a little bit. Flavors, I don't like this being on its own line. I don't like this being hyphenated here. So the hyphenations and the things that are on one line. And I feel like all of the body copy should be the same size throughout the whole thing, including all of your sizing information, all of this stuff should all be the same size font. And with bold included on some of these areas here, I would say. Wholesale pricing, you know, if this is important, this could be a different size, or it could just be the same size, but this could be bolded, kept in the same spot. I would shrink everything down a little bit and move this stuff away from the bottom edge a little bit more. And I would actually move even these upper light roast, dark roast chocolate, make them all the same size, bold them, and then bump them down from the top edge. It would be good to use a tab here in between. I would show you how to do it right now, but you don't have editable text. So, I mean, if we could have a tabs with like dots that lead up to the price on these little menu areas, that would be super nice. Yeah, and I'm almost wondering, like, there's a lot of text on this page. I mean, I would say you could break up this text. You know, we could take some of this off, and then we could, you know, we could actually put some of it over here and like actually like kind of utilize this other space. Potentially, I'm not saying you have to do this, but at least you'd be kind of breaking up some of the text a little bit, at least on this back panel. I don't know, maybe you could leave it. You could take out some of it. You know, you could take out like, we work closely with our importers to get the best beans around the world. You take that out and you could put it over here and like make it kind of like a featured text, like, you know, make it larger and maybe put quotes around it, much like we did in the magazine project. And like maybe change the color of it, or maybe add like a, you know, a color of red behind there that would have like a tint on it, or like it wouldn't be all the way, it wouldn't be like, you could change down the opacity a little bit, you know, like, and put it underneath the text, you know. That might be like something that you could do with this page, just to kind of make this a little shorter over here, but still utilize this space. So just some ideas, but this page really needs more work. It needs to have actual text. There needs to be bold, and changing the, just listening to me and doing what I told you, and also changing the bleeds. But other than that, looks good.